Okay, let's talk about NLE Choppa having to sit down, with the other guys, Kirk Franklin. And this is the reason why they say don't discuss, religion and politics, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody have different worldviews, perspectives, different opinions and stuff like that. So, I want to offer my, my input, my 2 cents on the whole conversation. I haven't seen the whole conversation, but I've been seeing, bits and pieces of it. And all I can say is out of the mouth of babes. You feel what I'm saying? And Psalms 8:2 and Matthew 21:16 references this. You feel what I'm saying? And if y'all don't know that out of the mouth of babes mean that, something wise and insightful can come out of a young, innocent child's, mouth. They can deliver truth. They can deliver insights. So, NLE Choppa being the youngest one on the discussion panel, he delivered a lot of truth and a lot of insight in a wise and intelligent manner. Now, this the part, that gets me is everybody else on the panel is a Christian. NLE Choppa is spiritual. He claims to be spiritual, but he still claims to, believe in God and, read the Bible and things of that nature. So I feel like everybody else, in the panel, they felt like they were allowed to be ignorant, to remain ignorant, judgmental, and biased, due to suffering from religious trauma, because that was their excuse. You feel what I'm saying? And what I get from people, when it comes from, religious trauma, when it comes to religious trauma, is that's a generational curse, right? And so when it comes to generational curses, they repeat it like a dummy. Like, I'm not gonna even, it's no way to be nice. You know what I'm saying? People repeat it like a dummy, but they get grace because, that happens to a lot of people. They'll be like, I saw my great grandmother do this, so I do that. Or I saw my mama and daddy do that, so I do. And a lot of people do that, you know what I'm saying? It takes the black sheep of the family, somebody to be like, well, I'm not finna do that. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm like the black sheep of my family, And so I give a lot of people grace because I know sometimes it is hard to escape, the matrix, the simulation, your conditioning, the way that you was brought up. That's just the way you was brought up. But I do agree with Majors when he didn't say it probably the most eloquent way, but I do understand what he's trying to convey. The message is that you do find God at the darkest hours of your life sometimes. It's a lot of people that, they was at their lowest and they was atheists and things of that nature. And then they go, I converted and found God because, this situation had happened to me and it made me turn to God and, God brought me out of it, brought me through it. So you feel what I'm saying? I understand that you can find God at your lowest point. We not denying that, you know what I'm saying? But I know another thing I want to point out, people still get me with the fact that they think that a physical building or a temple is going to give them salvation and deliverance from the powers and the penalties of sin. And that's not going to happen. I tell my family members this all the time. You know what they think about me? They think I'm the spawn of Satan. They think I'm crazy. You feel what I'm saying? And I tell people, to my family, they like, I don't know what she got going on. You know what I'm saying? They think that I'm very unconventional when it comes to, my spiritual practices and beliefs. But then sometimes they'll turn around and come and say to me that, oh, I met someone that do what you do. You feel what I'm saying? And then they start opening their eyes and they start to understand, me to a certain degree. You feel what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna be real with you. Your body is the temple. That's why I say, if you see on my page, I always say, read figuratively, metaphorically, not literally, so as much, you know what I'm saying? It's just that your body is the temple. Everything that you need to gain access to God, it is within you. As within, so without. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to align your mind, body, and soul, or spirit, if you want to say spirit or whatever. That's that heart-brain coherence that go on within you. You feel what I'm saying? That's why you have to be in shape mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and then you'll get in shape financially, because it's going to show that you in tune with God once you do the inner work. The inner world reflects what? The outer world. You know what I'm saying? Also, I do like when NLE Choppa said, y'all want to go through all this. See, they feel like you got to jump through all the hoops like a circus act just to get to God, and you really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like NLE said, you go outside, sit in nature, journal, meditate, read the Bible. That's the only thing you need to do. That's why they tell people, you know, just read for yourself, develop a connection for yourself, because there's a lot of false prophets. Because I know that one thing that I saw when they said that God is not enough, that kind of threw me for a loop too. You feel what I'm saying? Because even though I'm spiritual, how you gonna say God is not enough? And it's a comment, I'm gonna have to put that if I can find a commenter, but they were saying that too. They like, you made your money built off of God, so how you gonna say God not enough? You know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to have the strongest faith. If you are a man of the cloth and you represent yourself outwardly and publicly, a man or a woman of the cloth, you got to have enough faith to move mountains. You can't even come with no mustard seed. So I don't even know why they even admitted that, but I do give them grace for being truthful and being honest. But I didn't understand that because Kirk Franklin was like, there are sometimes God is not enough. God should always be enough. You know what I'm saying? And Jonathan Majors has said, you know, God can't get you out of dark places. Yes, God can. This is the thing, and I feel like Jonathan Majors and the other guy, because the other guy kind of touched on that too, about, you know, dealing with a woman that was a narcissist. And I'm going to just be real with you. Women that are narcissists, they come in any color, any creed, you know, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? A narcissist is just a narcissist. You feel what I'm saying? If it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a duck. And I understand going through that situation. That's why I'm going to weigh in on that. Because we all saw Jonathan Majors go through that with the woman publicly before he got married to his wife now. That the lady was, you know, beating on him in public, didn't care about the police and stuff. Like, that's a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? When people is a narcissist, they don't care. And the point of a narcissistic relationship is spiritual warfare. It is to bring you down, and it is to weaken your faith. It is to make you believe that you are all alone, but you are not ever alone. You know what I'm saying? God is always with you. The unseen forces is always with you. The spiritual realm is always with you. So that's probably why he felt like that. Because yes, you know, somebody be like, oh, you doing something to make the lady act like that. You know, people blame you when things come out publicly and it don't look good in your favor. And yeah, that could make you feel bad. And it could be a situation where can't nobody else help you, but God is there with you to coach you through it. Because like NLE references too, we all gonna go through challenges and obstacles. There's nothing new under the sun. So you always have to have a strong faith that God is gonna help you overcome in victory. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say we have victory in Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That's why you feel me? So also, you know, when Kirk kind of said this, you know, it kind of showed that, you know, people will really, you know, wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? That's why that's that saying. We all wear our mask. You feel what I'm saying? That's why we all got our skeletons in our closet. And so I feel like a lot of people when this conversation went down, they were very comfortable, you know, with just kind of sitting in the lies, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Because we all don't know like the whole truth. You feel what I'm saying? That's why we all out here seeking and trying to explore and find our way. But, you know, there is only one true living universal God. And I feel like God is in everything, you know what I'm saying? And you can do your practice how you want to do your practice as long as you practicing spirituality. That's my motto. You feel what I'm saying? Also, Major said this though too, and you got to peep this. When Major said that there shouldn't be rules and expectations for people or Christians. But Christians can't sit there and say that now when organized religion had set that standard for them and everybody else. You feel what I'm saying? Because why you want to go, oh, and now it shouldn't be rules. Now I want to bend the rules because I feel like it's not suitable for me. You can't do that. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's really what organized religion does. It sets these rules. See, spiritualists, we don't follow no rules. We do what we feel, what resonate with us, and you're not going to tell us what to do. That's why people cannot really stand us a lot, because we walk in our own purpose, our own path, and whether it's unique or crazy to other people, we don't care. And that's why a lot of people do not like us or don't agree with us. You feel what I'm saying? And so I just want to end this with Matthew 7:5. Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. That's all I want to say. And may we remain infinite in the finite. Ashe.